Welcome, folks. My name is Scott McDevitt, and I'm the Customer Marketing Manager at Gordon Food Service. I'm joined today by Barry Fraser, who's one of our non-food specialists and a subject matter expert on all things takeout and portability. I want to welcome you to today's webinar, where we are going to make dollars and cents out of off-premise dining. We're going to discuss why this topic is so important. We're going to answer the question of whether it's really here to stay and ingrained in our business. We're going to talk about best practices and how to do things efficiently. We're going to touch on the eco-friendly and the ramifications of that, what that means to our diners. And finally, we're going to touch on some concerns through our government and municipalities when it comes to the recycling programs of eco-friendly products. So let's begin. Barry, this is something that's been ingrained in our business for quite a while, pre-COVID. But it seems to have risen in importance overall as baked into our business. Can you talk about why this topic is so important?
Well, Scott, I think it's important because, in my opinion, being a non-food specialist, it's the most important part of any food service establishment. If we learn anything from the past couple of years, it's that we need to be adaptable and to be able to pivot our business and change things on the fly. Having a great-looking restaurant, a perfect menu, nice decor, and comfy seats won't pay the bills or attract customers if they aren't even allowed in to enjoy things. The best way of keeping a revenue stream coming is to use your kitchen to its full potential by offering a perfect takeout experience. I can't say that COVID is the sole reason why we need to focus more on the details of our takeout program. Things are moving this way the past few years, with food delivery platforms and ghost kitchen concepts gaining popularity and the HMR segment growing from grocery stores to the corner store. A decent takeout home meal option was around every corner. Some of these companies have put a lot of research into how the food looks, tastes, travels, and finally what the end user experience is once they get to their destination. The average restaurant would typically look at the cost of their disposables and find something that worked in their budget in the past, but now it's time to take advantage of the research and innovation that's happened with packaging and start to profit from it by improving the full off-premise experience. The stats don't lie. Ordering food to go has increased substantially and is projected to keep rising. Almost half of all Canadians intend to keep ordering food online at least once a week post-pandemic, and 63.8% of Canadians have ordered food online in some form over the past 6 months. In short, takeout is important and it's going to constantly grow and evolve.
So often, Barry, I'm asked the question, is this really here to stay? Is it worth investing in on the long term?
Well, takeout's always had a presence, but it was never looked upon as much of a necessity as it is now. In the past couple of years, grocery stores have really upped their game with home replacement meals, salad bars, and in some, full hot buffets and in-store chefs. 2020 brought a whole new set of challenges, but with that came opportunity. People miss the experience they have from a great meal that they didn't have to cook, so the need is there. It's the expectations on takeout that have changed, and that is what we need to realize. Customers have established the point that they will pay more for takeout and food home delivery. I recently noticed the delivery platform started to offer services in my small town where I live. The delivery charges extra fees and tips added an extra $13 on a dish that had a plate cost of $15. What customers expect in trade for these fees is very simple. A meal that comes well packaged, safe, and of most important, fresh tasting at the correct temperature. Sending a sandwich and fries in a foam box that's dripping with condensation in an open plastic bag is simply unacceptable for today's standards. It will cost an operator that repeat business. It could also mean less than favorable reviews online or an unflattering post on social media. So if you place that same meal in a container that's designed for travel, has vents for steam to escape, yet keeping the heat in, package that in a tamper-evident bag, and have confidence that your food is going to arrive as expected, hot, fresh, and safe. You can profit from the repeat business, a great review, and hopefully a nice shout out on someone's Instagram. You can see by this graph that since 2017, food deliveries in Canada have been increasing steadily, with the number of users expected to rise to 10 million by 2024. These users will also expect that we as an industry keep innovating and improving that off-premise dining experience.
Barry, you mentioned a couple of key things there about quality, freshness, the right packaging. When people talk about off-premise, it looks very much like it's an extension of their brand. So in order to do it correct and to maintain that brand quality of your restaurant, what are some of the key best practices for successful off-premise dining programs?
Well, Scott, it all starts with the menu. We've been preaching this to our customers for years about simplifying the menu and paring it down to a manageable size. It's great to offer some variety, but you're better to stick to the things you do best and balance it between making it unique to you to drive repeat business and producing a profit, while making it simple to execute and be something that transitions well from the dining experience to being enjoyed off premise. I would look at the average menu and cut down the size. Concentrate on popular items that maintain quality and are your most profitable. Realize that these items that have a unique presentation or use a specific dish, like a French onion soup, for example, may need to be excluded. You may choose to deconstruct some items to be finished at home, like a nacho platter with the toppings on the side. Or if you make an amazing Caesar salad, you may need to consider the dressing on the side. Testing is very important. I cannot stress how important it is to look at the packaging options available to you and test them out. So take your food item. As an example, we'll choose steak frites. Package one in your normal container that you would use and others in the proposed containers. And make sure you try to be as detailed as possible, right down to the bag you would use, and even placing them in an insulated carrier to replicate the delivery process. Wait 15 minutes or longer. Check the temperature of the food, but most importantly, taste and enjoy your food. And be critical about things as if you were writing an online review from a customer's experience. Be real. What was the experience like? Was one style of container much better than the others? How did your original one perform? And the big question, would you order that meal again? The steak frites option was one we tested in-house, and we found the most important feature that made a difference was a container with vents on the top. It allowed steam to escape, which kept the fries crispy, and for the steak, if the container has a textured surface underneath, it reduces the surface tension on the meat and also ensures it's not sitting in its own juices. This could also be a time to get into other market segments. Look into ghost kitchen concepts. Using your kitchen during non-traditional hours for food production, maybe it's time to get into producing meal kits. One recent idea was to produce a dinner for two to be finished at home. The two steaks cooked in the sous vide to a rare temperature, chilled and packaged with the starch and veg along with instructions and even a proprietary spice blend to season the meal. Great for takeout and great to take home and finish. Golf courses have a great opportunity to offer home family takeout meals. Place your order at the beginning of the round and take it home with you after the 18th hole. The possibilities are endless. The key to this being successful is being adaptable, keeping an open mind to any possibility, and making a profit.
Mm-hmm. Part of the that brand extension that we're talking about here is the perception of the consumer, and a lot of that then revolves around the terms eco-friendly and what that really means. I think sometimes we get caught up in some of the issues that are around that. So could you bring a little clarity, Barry, to really what eco-friendly means to us and why is this important?
Absolutely. Eco-friendly can mean so many different things. So much of it is open to interpretation due to all the buzzwords out there. Sustainability, green, eco, compostable, biodegradable, etc. I could go on and on. As a non-food specialist called on for consulting for anything from a small restaurant and multi-unit chains to universities and sports centers, I focus less on being fully green or eco-friendly to being regional friendly, Ottawa friendly, Halifax friendly, or Vancouver friendly as examples. The reason is this: every municipality, region, or province is different, just as our provinces are in what they accept in their respective programs. And as an example, the City of Toronto recycles foam containers, but not black plastic, where other regions may accept black plastic and the majority won't accept foam. On the green side of things, Wellington County, as an example, will accept plant-based PLA plastics in their green bin program, where the neighboring city of Guelph, which is much larger, will not accept that, along with a large amount of compost facilities in the country doing the same. So given this information, I feel it's important for establishments to use products that will help divert a greater amount of waste from our landfills in our current systems, while ensuring that they're not needlessly spending extra money and keeping that in the bank. As an example, if the local area won't accept a plant-based clear cup and it's just going to the landfill where it's not going to break down, it's better to stick with a PET clear cup that's made from the most widely accepted substrate and has a far better chance of not ending up buried in a landfill. Not only that, one case of cups could equal an extra $70 or more in savings. So if we truly want to make an impact on the environment, change needs to happen at a provincial or municipal level. So check online with your local waste management programs and have local MPs involved on making that change. Switching to true eco-friendly products is the right thing to do when the time is right. The proper systems need to be in place for it to have a proper impact. However, public perception and pressure from consumers is intense, and they're looking for that green story. 65% of consumers report social responsibility is important to them. They want to see biodegradable and compostable, and as things become safer and open up, there's a definite push for reusable containers or a BYOC system, much like the tiffin system used in India that was used well before plastic containers were even invented. My suggestion is that we look at what an operator is currently doing that's eco-friendly without much effort. A great example is the humble pizza box that was designed in the 60s. It hasn't changed much at all because it works well, and guess what? It's always been eco-friendly. Way before that, it was cool. A pizza box that's soiled can go in a green bin and break down easily, where a clean one can be recycled. Many pizza places don't advertise this green feature at all. So if you take a look at your restaurant, if you use Array branded products, they're made from recycled paper and are compostable. If the plastic containers you use are already accepted in a blue bin, or the big ass clamshells you've used for years are composted locally, you can fly your eco flag high with confidence. But also consider a reusable container program. And the picture on the right there is a green container. I've done several installs of these at universities over the years, and the program works great. There are a few companies that have popped up recently offering services to supplying clean containers, but it's a very easy program to offer in a high quality container customers pay a deposit on and bring back the next time they come in. So then you replace that with a sanitized one and wash the next one for the next guest. This diverts products from the landfill and also encourages more traffic to your establishment. We have several options available in different sizes and colors with more on the horizon. So there's a lot of confusion on the subject, but if you're considering an eco-friendly product, ask the questions on the product and know what you're buying. I recently saw somebody promoting eco-friendly plastic of all things. Our products have all been verified, so we take the guesswork out of things.
That's fantastic information, Barry, because often we brush the one stroke fits all kind of format, and it's just not true in this case. There's so many little idiosyncrasies that we have to be aware of, and often we are set up to be eco-friendly, and we don't even know it because we haven't really done the research. So I think that's fantastic stuff. My final question is sort of on that same vein. There's been recent government announcements on bans of plastics, and it tends to put fear into our restaurateurs and our food service customers. Can you shed a little light on this situation?
Absolutely. When that announcement was made, it definitely caused a lot of panic phone calls to come my way. I do think the proposed changes can make a positive impact, and the studies they've done on marine waste and what's being found in nature are quite shocking. But I don't think enough work's been done on the proper solutions and what impact this can have on our industry. It's already fragile and trying to recover from the devastation of COVID-19, and bringing on these changes in such a hurry seems careless and poorly planned and could likely cause further damage. I was involved as a stakeholder recently with the City of Toronto in their proposed changes and bans over 2 years ago. They spent a lot of time planning and measuring the impact of what they wanted to propose. That was October 2018, and they've still yet to implement any ban because they realize the timing is not right and our industry is not ready. I think it's important to realize at the moment it's just a proposal that hasn't been passed as law. There was a series of 6 webinars for discussion and feedback on this proposal. A lot of great points were made, and one is that the foodware ban is too vague and no specific items have been put forward. That any proposed alternatives must perform the same function, and they've even already started to discuss products that could be exempted from the ban, so they are listening to the unique problems of our food service and healthcare industry. I could see some of the simple ones like stir sticks and possibly 6-pack rings being a simple switch, while others may not be, especially when they plan for this across the country. We can use recent bans on plastic bags in Nova Scotia, as well as a strong demand on paper bags in North America wide. It's causing raw materials shortages and price hikes on paper bags. Now imagine this for any alternatives to plastic containers. There's a demand for takeout food and frozen meals, but nothing to package it in, or replacing a perfectly recyclable container with one that's made of material that takes over 120 days to compost, and we don't have the facilities to accommodate it. So it ends up being dumped in our landfills. More time is needed, and I think that will be considered. When the product is readily available, the proper changes will happen gradually. QSR chains has driven change already by moving to alternatives to straws using sip lids and paper or plant-based options that are all now readily available. Many establishments and food delivery platforms only give condiments, cutlery, and napkins by request, and so not only are they saving waste from landfills, they're saving money too. In conclusion, it's hard to change your packaging to something when no proper guidance has been given yet on what to change to. I feel they should let the industry, manufacturers, and municipal systems catch up to these proposed measures before making these changes. But regardless of this, no matter what measures are implemented, I'm confident in our supply chain and that we will have the right solutions to service our customers and help them be compliant.
Yeah, thanks, Barry. Lots of great information there to navigate through this world. I've got a few key takeaways from our discussion that I just want to touch on. And I think that the COVID devastation that we all went through sort of pushed us along into off-premise dining as an alternative revenue stream. It's now become, I think, a consumer expectation as part of how a restaurant goes to market. And it will also be how customers often judge that restaurant and judge their brand through that takeout program. The other piece is that we must establish best practices. We must look at the size of our menu. We must look at based on our profitability and our portability and our popularity of items, what travels well, the right container for the right application. If we're going to do this, you can't just put your toe in. You've got to jump in. You've got to invest in the right thing and really make a top-notch off-premise dining program. And then that last piece, that understanding eco-friendly, I think you gave us some fantastic information, but there's a lot to digest there. And checking with your municipality, checking to see where you fall into that already today, and maybe some changes that you have to make will be paramount to establishing, once again, a good program. So I think I'm going to wrap this up with a thank you to all that attended today. Certainly, Gordon Food Service is in a position with our specialists to support you in this area. You can reach out to your district sales representative, which will get you in contact with folks like Barry. And rest assured, we'll be your partner for profit when it comes to helping you establish a solid off-premise dining program. So thank you again and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you for your time today. I look forward to hearing from you and helping you with all your disposable needs.